Cargo airline Transair's jets are grounded after a lengthy FAA investigation of maintenance and safety practices that began months before one of its planes crash landed in the ocean off Oahu. Gina Mangieri is always investigating and says pilots were growing increasingly worried about practices ahead of the crash landing.
The FAA's grounding of Transair's remaining Boeing 737 comes after years of mounting fines and penalties, and what I learned was a growing chorus of internal complaints. The company also operates prop planes, and those have not been grounded. The Federal Aviation Administration says effective midnight Thursday, Rhodes Aviation, which operates Transair, cannot fly or conduct maintenance inspections until it complies with FAA regulations. The FAA says the agency's decision is separate from the ongoing investigation of the July 2nd accident, in which pilots ditched a Boeing 737 into the ocean shortly after takeoff from Honolulu. Both pilots were rescued at sea. Sources tell us FAA inspectors were digging in especially closely during a routine evaluation that started last year.
It usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks. They've been there the entire time. They're still there.
That from an insider whose identity is being protected for fear of retribution, but whose assertions check out with what the FAA itself acknowledged, saying the FAA began investigating the maintenance and safety practices of Rhodes Aviation last fall. On June 13th, the FAA notified Rhodes that it intended to rescind the authority for the airline to conduct maintenance inspections due to deficiencies. The company was given 30 days to ask the FAA to reconsider, which it did not do. It was during that 30-day window that the plane went down.
But the aircraft in question that crashed, that was the oldest plane in the fleet, and it was about ready to retire. The engines were so old and tired and weak and worn out that it was not meeting the minimum performance requirements as per the certificate of airworthiness from the FAA and from the manufacturer.
This former Transair pilot feared the worst.
I remember saying to myself, they're going to pitch one in the drink. That's what I said to myself. And they did. Fortunately, it was in the drink and not into somebody's house. Okay? But this was, I kind of knew this was going to happen. I felt it in my bones when I left there. There was no improvement. If anything, it had gotten worse.
As Always Investigating first reported, the airline has racked up hundreds of thousands in fines and penalties over the years for everything from maintenance to flight operations, records and reporting, even drug testing violations.
Why were they simply paying affordable fines? Okay, something that was acceptable to them. They should have simply had their certificate revoked, period. Just, no, you're not fit for this anymore. We're taking it away.
The FAA's action last night does that, at least temporarily, by removing its authority to conduct maintenance inspections. And without an inspection authorization, the carrier cannot operate legally.
What really should happen at this point, if you take into account how egregious their errors have been and how they have neglected air safety, the company should be permanently shut down.
Transair is a carrier of mail inter-island for the U.S. Postal Service. The Postal Service told us previously there was no U.S. mail on the downed jet. The FAA says as of last night's grounding, the company had one operational Boeing 737-200. The Postal Service told me today the FAA grounding did not affect the distribution of mail today, as Transair transported mail to Kahului and Hilo this morning on a prop plane instead of a jet. Mail to all other Hawaii destinations is transported by other contractors. While its jets are grounded, Transair will continue to transport mail by its prop planes from Honolulu to Kahului and Hilo every night, and from those two neighbor island cities back to Honolulu every afternoon. The FAA told me a sister company, Trans Executive Airlines of Hawaii, operates smaller turboprop planes, still as Transair. The FAA grounding does not apply to Trans Executive Airlines. We reached out to Transair for a response. We'll let you know if they comment. Gina Mangieri, KHON2 News, Always Investigating.